Bonjour tout le monde, et bonne Saint Valentine. I probably butchered a little bit of that because je ne parle pas français. I'm also not very much what you would call a francophile. With that said, though, today I'm going to be looking at Amelie, probably my favorite foreign movie. Back in 2015, I went to Europe for two reasons. One was to go visit Jim Morrison's grave, and the second reason was to look for locations that they used in Amelie. I mean, yeah, of course I went to the Arc de Triomphe and the Eiffel Tower, but really, this was the inspiration to go there. Now, generally speaking, I don't really care too much for France, nor do I care about rom-coms for that matter. So for Amelie to be one of my favorite foreign movies, that really says something. What can I say though? It's a great movie. So without further ado, this is my review of Amelie. Here's my obligatory spoiler warning. If you don't want anything spoiled for you, go watch it yourself. Now, originally I was going to talk about the whole movie, but I realized that would kind of ruin the experience for people. So I'm just going to kind of give you a rundown. So we start the movie being introduced to this little girl named Amelie, right? And both of her parents are very eccentric people. Her mom's a school teacher and her dad's a military doctor. They rarely show very much affection towards Amelie, so whenever her dad gives her a checkup, he thinks that she has a heart condition, when really it's just because he was so close to her that her heart was beating fast. Because of this, she's homeschooled and isn't really allowed to play with other kids, which leads her to develop her own eccentricities. So one day, she and her mother go to Notre Dame to pray for a baby brother, but it seems like God had something else in mind. Anyway, skip to several years later, and we see that Amelie has a job and is living on her own. And then one day, she comes across a box of what appears to be childhood mementos. So she decides to make it her mission to find the box's original owner and return it to them. If the person is moved emotionally, she'll dedicate her life to helping others. If not, at least she tried. All the while, she finds herself falling in love with a man named Nino. And he also had a pretty rough childhood. And through the magic of flashbacks, we see just how perfect they are for each other. But for some reason, Amelie wants to make it into a game to see if he really is Mr. Right. So will they end up together? Will Amelie become a pillar of her community by helping out others? The answer to these questions is obviously yes, but the point is you should really see this movie for yourself. For me personally, this is the definition of a feel-good movie. And on top of that, some parts of this movie are absolutely hilarious. Like when she calls the porno shop. Like I said, don't just take my word for it and see it for yourself. And I hope you have a happy Valentine's Day, and I'll see you next time. Bye. This is a product of our great society.